Hello, this is today's Hindu, 19th of February, Thursday 2026, and here is one of the good articles which have appeared in the text and context, and that is the need for diversity in the judiciary. So let us try to understand this one. Okay, so P. Wilson, senior advocate and Rajya Sabha MP of Wilson, senior advocate and Rajya Sabha MP of Davinda Munitra Kanjkam party, has introduced a private member bill to amend the constitution in order to bring diversity in judicial appointments and set up regional benches of the Supreme Court. Now, what does the constitution provide? So, Article 126 of the Constitution provides that judges of the Supreme Court shall be appointed by the President after consulting the Chief Justice of India, that is CGI. Okay, so this is basically is the collegium system. Okay, where there are few members of the Supreme Court, which are the part who are the part of this collegium system, and which is headed by the CGI of which means the Chief Justice of India, and then the Collegium system decide who will be the next CGI. Okay, and the name will be forwarded by the CGI of India, and then the person will appoint that name. Okay. Similarly, Article 1 217 provides that the judges of a high court shall be appointed by the president after consulting the CGI, the CGI, the chief justice of the high court, and the governor of the state. Okay, so this is nothing but the collegium system for the appointment of the high court. Okay, so there also you have CGI and the chief justice of the high court. Okay, and few other members who will decide who is going to be the next chief justice of the high court. Okay, then the main role of the role of the person is to only appoint them, not to select them. Okay. Now, Article 130 of the Constitution provides that the seat of the Supreme Court shall be in Delhi. So, it is written in the Constitution that the seat of the Supreme Court shall be in Delhi or such other places as appointed by the CGI with the approval of the central government. Okay, so you maybe ask a question that who can appoint other places as the seat of the Supreme Court of India? So, it is the CGI with the approval of the central government. Okay, so now, what is the collegium system? So, as per the process laid down in the constitution, judges were appointed by the government after consultation with the judiciary till 1980s. Then comes the in the first judges case 1981, the Supreme Court upheld the primacy of the executive in the judicial appointment since it is accountable to the people. However, considering the need to maintain the independence of the judiciary and insulate it from political favoritism, the Supreme Court, in the second judge's case, created the collegium system for the appointment of the judges. This was reaffirmed by the court's opinion in the third judge's case, 1998. The collegium consists of CGI with four senior judges of the Supreme Court for the appointments of the Supreme Court, and the CGI with two senior judges appointment to the high courts. The Collegium initiates the proposal for appointment of judges to the higher judiciary and send the recommendation to the central government. The center may return the recommendation in case of any objection. However, if the collegium reiterates the recommendation, the appointment should be made. The collegium system has ensured the independence of judiciary from the executive in matter of appointments. Nevertheless, it has its own drawbacks like lack of transparency and accountability. There is also resentment on account of alleged nepotism in this process, whereby kith and kin of sitting judges are favored for appointment to higher judiciary. Parliament, through the 99th Constitution Amendment in 2014, had set up the National Judicial Appointments Commission NGAC to provide recommendations to the executive for appointment of the judges. The NJAC was to consist of CGI, two senior judges, and the Union Law Minister and the two eminent persons. This was, however, struck down by the Supreme Court in 2015, as it violated the basic structure of the independence of the judiciary. Hence, the collegium process continues till date for the appointment. What is this will? What is this will? The collegium process lays emphasis on the merit in the selection of judges. However, it does not reflect the social diversity of our country. For instance, out of the judges appointed to the higher judiciary between 2018 2024, only around 20% belong to scheduled caste, 20% belong to scheduled tribes and other backward classes (OBC). The protection of women and religious minorities is less than 15% and 5% respectively. The just a second. The think of where it is. Just a minute. The bill, yes, the bill introduced by the private member mandates that due representation should be given to SC, ST, OBC, religious minorities, and women in proportion to their population while appointing judges to the Supreme Court and High Courts. It also sets a maximum timeline of 90 days for the central government to notify the recommendations of the Collegium. Considering that Supreme Court only sits in Delhi, access to highest court for common citizens remain a challenge. There are also more than 90,000 cases pending in the Supreme Court as of January 2016. In order to address these issues, the bill requires setting up of regional benches of the Supreme Court in New Delhi, Kolkata, Mumbai, and Chennai. These regional benches shall exercise full jurisdiction of the Supreme Court except for cases of constitutional importance to be heard by the main constitution bench in Delhi. What can be the way forward? The onus for ensuring social diversity in the appointment of judges primarily falls on the judiciary through the collegium process. The private member bill is relevant as it would create a constitution directive to achieve the desired objective. The long-term reform could be to revive the NJAC by broad lasting its composition. It can include representatives from the legislature, bar council, and like uh, in South Africa and UK. This would make the consultation broad-based and inclusive. Suitable representation for SC, ST, OBC, minorities, and women should be ensured through this process, as recommended by parliamentary committees and law commission in the past. Reserve benches of the Supreme Court can be set up under existing provisions of the Constitution itself. The court may be the court may even consider setting up a bench in one region initially and extend to the other regions in a time-bound manner. So it is written by Rangarajan R. Sir, who is a former IAS officer and author of courseware on politics simplified. He currently trains at Officers IAS Academy. Okay, so this academy is in Delhi, Karulbagh. You will find it. Okay, so what has been the gist of this whole piece of information? That we just got to know that the representation of the OBC, SC, ST in the and the religious minorities as well as women are just are not adequate to their population. Okay, so that is why he is trying to highlight that there is a bill which is demanding for diversity in judiciary. Okay, and Article 124 we know that this provides for the judges of the Supreme Court shall be appointed by the President after consulting the Chief Justice of India. Okay, then collegium system was created in the second judges case 1993. Okay, uh, then out of the judges appointed to the higher judiciary between 2018 and 2024, only around 20% belong to scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and OBC. Okay, so only around 20% is the number of the people who are from OBC, SC, ST. Okay, so that is the thing. I hope. And one more thing that is important, that the the seat of the Supreme Court. Under Article 130 of the Supreme Court provides that the seat of the Supreme Court shall be in Delhi or such other places as appointed by the CGI with the approval of central government. Okay, so appointment of any other place as the seat of the Supreme Court shall be done by the CGI, not the president. Okay, however, CGI need to have the central government approval. Okay, so that is the thing. Are Indian firms intent on moving to Venezuelan oil? Okay, so let us first see the gist. Okay, no, let us just dive into the discussion. Okay, what are the drawbacks of Venezuelan crude? Has India been importing from the South American nation? So let us see. Indian refiners have not been particularly enthusiastic with the prospect of Venezuelan oil flowing into the global market during the U.S. capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. While announcing the trade agreement with India, U.S. President Donald Trump unilaterally mentioned that New Delhi had agreed to buy more crude from U.S., potentially Venezuelan oil. However, the joint statement makes no such mention. Okay. What are the concerns? As Bharatan Director for Refiners at Hindustan Petroleum said that Venezuelan crude, other than being bottom heavy, also has high viscosity and high acid number. Sanjay Khanna, chairman and managing director of Bharat Petroleum, too, had indicated that Venezuelan crude contains high Venezuelan crude contains high metal and nitrogen content. He further stated that the crude would have been co-blended with other lighter crude to the extent of 10 to 15% and then processed. For perspective, higher bellow viscosity indicates a potential resistance to flow, while a higher acid number indicates a higher chemical mix existing naturally in the oil. Now, what is a concern for new refinery? Amit Priyadarshan, Chief Executive Officer of Cali, explained that pipes, bends, pressure vessels, outlets, inlets, valves, and chokes in the refinery are designed based on the certain viscosity of crude oil, beyond which it leads to complication in the process, he stated, adding specifically with respect to viscosity in the flow of crude oil in pipes and system of a refinery pressure gets filled up. Further enumerating about the acidic number, Mr. Priyadarshan explained that a higher acidic number would result in corroding I think not this much is not important. Okay, so let us see the justice gist part. Okay, so this one we have see a potential determinant for higher visual uptake entails politically uncertain. Mr. Trump's actions have been condemned at the United Nations Security Council. India's foreign ministry has maintained that New Delhi remains open to exploring the commercial merits of any crude supply, also including from Venezuela. Okay, so this is the thing. Now let us move to the Indian Express. So here is the Indian Express, and there is an ad on the very first phase of the AI Impact Summit. Okay, so you have the Google CEO, who is the Sundar Pichai, and the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So handshake is happening. Okay, now let us move ahead. Yes, so here is the fee. Here is the thing. Uh, India pitch democratizing AI, respecting sovereignty. PM Narendra Modi with visiting a world leader as Bharat Mandapam on Wednesday. Now, not much important things. Yeah, impact summit. Okay. So Sashi Tharoor sir has written something. Now Nicobar projects strategic and ecological consequence. So this is important from the perspective of GS paper 3 as well as for the environment section. Okay. So this is essay reviews 2018 Sabrimala ruling and issues on the table. Okay. This is also important. Okay. So for the Hindu discussion part, I think we should stop here and we'll try to Indian Express in the separate video. Okay. So thank you.